morning, everybody. Depending on where you're located. So all I wanted to do this morning was last live that I was doing. I was explaining how LOC is not my main job. In fact, what I actually do for a living is what I'm going to show you now. So basically, I own a landscape design and install company. And so basically, you tell me, hey, I want my backyard or my front yard, whatever. I want it completely designed. And yes, I know this has nothing to do with LOC. I'm just letting you all know kind of what I do. Kind of like 1911 Syndicate on the side. What they do is they do real estate, I believe, is what they do on the side. And that's an awesome channel if you ever want to go and check it out. But basically, you tell me, hey, I want to get my entire backyard, for example, completely redone. So here's an example of what we did. So this all used to be just like centipede grass and weeds, basically. And what we did is we came in, poured concrete slab for concrete slab. We did the design first, but we poured the concrete slab. We did this border around everything, all around, and then plants. So basically, I love what I do. I love doing this as much as I love shooting guns and stuff. But yeah, that's basically what I do. Not like any of y'all really care that much, but one thing that I'm gonna recommend is if you, I am not an advocate for, I don't like working for people. I like to be able to kind of do my own thing. Yes, setting your hours, setting your own hours and stuff is within reason, what uh, kind of what you can do. However, however, it it's not all it's not as glamorous as you might think. So, for instance, yes, sometimes in the afternoons I can have just an easy afternoon. But then, there are other times, like a couple days ago, so I subcontract the landscaping out because I don't want to have to pay for equipment and have to do all the depreciation of assets, and that all just gets complicated. I don't like having to hire and fire and all that stuff. I used to do that, and I don't like it. So I subcontract out. Well, one of the landscapers, this is where the headache can start. One of the landscapers is extremely slow. I had to pick him up on an emergency because my usual landscaper that does all my projects bailed. Well, this landscaper is so extremely slow and not super reliable, but they do a good job. So I was out here one morning, 4 in the morning, just trying to get all their stuff done, and the project's an hour away. So that's quite a bit of travel time that's involved. So it's not like you can just wake up 10 minutes, drive over to a job site. But and then you have all the estimating that you have to do on the side. You have all that just mumbo jumbo that you got to do. So it's fun, but it's not something that everybody is going to want to do. My question though is, any of y'all that would be interested in, if any of y'all are kind of like interested in being able to do something on the side and be able to make money, just like not at your own job. This is not going to be a channel about money, please understand that. I'm not going to be, to make money you got to do blah blah blah. No, I'm not going to be that guy. But if you're wanting to find ways that you can either support your family on the side, or if you're wanting to just kind of do something as kind of a side hustle, feel free to reach out, because I enjoy talking to people about that kind of stuff. I have a few people that I have one guy that I mentor, because he has like no idea what he's doing in it for life. I mean, he complains whenever he's like, oh, I had to work a 10 hours a day yesterday, and that was horrible. And I was just trying. He's 21, and I was just like, guy, you got to realize that that's normal. If you're going to actually work, take care of your family, and all that kind of stuff, working 10 hours a day is going to be a norm to you. But I feel like this new generation of individuals just, you hear, oh, I don't like to work, and I don't know what that's all about. But I definitely do feel like there's a lot of people today that don't feel like working. They feel like just kind of sitting around letting life happen. And I was watching a podcast or video, I can't remember which one it was, and one of the individuals said that nobody really knows exactly who they are because they just kind of let life happen to them rather than actually sitting down saying, this is what I want from life, and then getting after it. And I've had so many of those individuals back when I used to partner with a different company. I had so many of those individuals that would come through, and all they wanted to do was they just wanted to let life happen. And some people are like that. I just want to show up, just want to get my check, go home. Some people are like that. That's fine. But I tell you right now, if you are absolutely wanting to try to, enjoy everything around you, you can't just show up to a job site and then go home. Con permiso. You can't just show up to your job, do it, and just leave. You're going to get so much more satisfaction out of going to your job, working your butt off at it, and trying to actually improve it. Yes, you may not get paid more for how hard you work. Like everywhere that I showed up, there's one job that I went to. I knew I wasn't going to get paid for the amount of work that I was going to put into the job. I knew that going into it. But my goal is I wanted to move up the ladder. And so I knew that all the extra work that I put in, I might be able to do that. I'm not bragging on myself. Please understand that. Because, there's so many people that work far harder than I do at life. But basically, whenever I went to leave, he said, yes, I can replace you at your job, but I cannot replace you as an individual because very few people actually work like you do. And that's just what I wish that everybody else out there would do. And again, I know it's not for everybody. Everybody just kind of wants to show up, do their job, head home, leave. That's fine. But if you really absolutely want to get a lot out of what you want to do in life, starting with working your... The music's playing, hold on. Start with working your butt off at work. I'm telling you, it's going to make a big difference. Work your butt off, invest in others, and you're going to get a whole lot more enjoyment out of what you do. Because if you're constantly looking for, what can I get out of life? What can I get out of life? It's not going to be nearly as enjoyable because you're always going to be looking for that next thing. You're always going to look for more money. You're always going to look for more fun. You're always going to look for more things. And it really is not going to be that fulfilling. I tell you that right now. So my recommendation, I'll hop off, I'll stop yabbering. But my recommendation is try to invest in yourself. Like, try to learn about something. Like, for instance, say you're a landscaper. Say you work at say you mow a bunch of properties, which would be lawn care, not landscaping. Say you work for a lawn care company and you mow lawns and stuff, and you think, you know what, I might want to do something of my own on the side. Well, learn a little bit about business and start trying to learn how you can start your own company. And then over time, as you start learning all the little details, which is how I did it, I started working I was contractor sales. And I knew how to do installs and stuff. But basically from there, I just started learning how to do business little by little through my manager. And then I started learning how, like, all the hiring and firing techniques that he would use. And then once I was there for 3 years, and then I actually had there was a guy who opened his company, and when he opened his company, he approached me and he asked me questions. He found out how much I knew, and I actually ended up mentoring him in how to run his company. And while, I'm not amazing at all, but he then, 3 years after he started, he then asked me to help him expand his company. And so I did. I joined his company. We ended up going from like it was 1 million something in revenue the year before, and then the year after, we ended up doing over 2.5 million in revenue, which is a pretty good jump. So and it's not all because of me, believe me, because we all had a joint part in it. But the point is like, don't be afraid to get out there and start something if you want to work something on the side. So whenever I first started LOC Tactical, which stands, so just so you guys know, LOC Tactical doesn't just stand for firearms. If you go and read the bio, if it's still there, I can't remember if I had updated or not, but basically LOC Tactical has to do with being tactical, not just in firearms, but also in life. So there's two aspects of being tactical, and it's not all about guns, believe me. In fact, if you even go over and watch Warrior Poet Society, whenever they're talking about being preppers, it's not all about guns. In fact, he says the last thing that you really need to be working, if I remember correctly, something about it being the last thing is going to be being very good with guns. The first thing is going to be mental preparedness. So being tactical goes far beyond just, oh, I know how to operate a firearm. It's like, yeah, well, are you also decent with other people? So, but I'm gonna get off again. I'm sorry guys that I have not been able to post very much. This keeps me very busy. In fact, like right now I'm gonna head home. I literally have a video that I really want to post, and I started going through it and rewatching the editing that I've done on it, just to make sure it's exactly like I want it to be, and I cannot seem to get to it. As soon as I get home, I've got to start doing another design for an apartment complex, or not, it's a big old bungalow location, but I just call it an apartment complex. As soon as I get home, I gotta get that done. It's been absolutely insane, which is good, but at the same time, it distracts me from being able to get all these videos and stuff out to you. So again, I apologize. I'm starting to try to do some live videos, so that way I can at least get on, let y'all know what's going on. And I'm not dead. The government hasn't come and got me yet, and I'm not in prison. Let me see here. My neck hurts because I slept weird and my dogs just beat me up. Well, tell me about that. Who's gonna get curb stomped? Your dog's gonna get curb stomped? That wouldn't be smart. We rescued a cat, and I don't even know if you're on. Anyway, we had rescued a cat, and quite a few years ago, and it's starting to get really annoying every morning, because as soon as you wake up, for some reason he knows when you wake up. You'll be sitting there laying in bed, and you'll just start hearing meow, meow at the window, and you're just, oh my word, let me alone. So if anybody wants a cat, let me know if they want a cat. No, yeah. Well, all right, guys, y'all have a good day. Appreciate you tuning in to my weirdness. Y'all have a good day. Make sure you train, because as I like to say, it is not just about having a gun. You got to train with it too. So y'all have a good day. Appreciate you. Bye. If I can figure out how to turn this thing off.